KE9, welcome to the one you have been waiting for. Here is your introduction to BTEC Sport for your options for next year. So what is BTEC Sport? I just wanted to put a slide up to talk you through the main components of what you would be studying for the next 2 years. So essentially, it is equivalent to your traditional GCSEs that you would know about. So at the end, you would gain a grade that calculates across to a GCSE equivalent. Essentially, it just lets you demonstrate your learning and your understanding in a slightly different way. So across the course, we study the 4 units that are on the screen at the moment. And I'm sure you can just have a quick glance over those. And you might notice that unit number 1 has exam written next to it. That is our exam unit, and the other 3 are purely coursework based. Okay, so in unit number 1, we break down what fitness is and what it means, how we test it, and what do your fitness test results actually mean. And at the end of that unit, you would sit an external exam. Unit number 2, the practical performance in sport. We sit and we pick apart 2 sports and we look at what makes success within those 2 sports. And the sports that we do are basketball and badminton. Okay, unit number 3 that is up there, applying the principles of personal training. This is where you get to think about yourselves in a bit more detail, and you would write and carry out a training program specific to yourselves. So you'd highlight your own strengths and weaknesses, you'd think about what you can do, and together we would design you a 6-week training program, and within your lessons you would carry that out. You would look at whether it had been successful or not, how we would know whether it had been successful, and we would make changes to that, and we would evaluate how well that had gone. And the final unit that is up on the screen, the sports performer in action, this is where we look at the body and how the body responds to exercise. We think about why is that good for us, and we talk about that in both the short term and the long term. So what would your lessons actually look like? So we've been through the four units that you would study, but how would we actually do that with you? So you would have some traditional teacher-led lessons in the classroom like you're used to. So we would go through content with you, we would deliver that to you, we'd do our low stakes test, we'd do our embedding knowledge, we'd do our directed questions, and we'd do that in a very similar way to how you were used to your lessons running. You might have some research lessons where we actually pose you a question and you have some time to go away, you have some time to think about that, you have some time to research your answer, and you would maybe present that to a partner or a small group or to the class. So we try and do this in as many different ways as we possibly can. The final point on there, I know will be exciting to a lot of you. As much as we humanly can, we try and do some practical parts of our course. But obviously we only do that when it is going to enhance your learning, when we feel that it will give you something to take away from that. But obviously, as you saw, there are some practical units within there. So we might carry out some fitness tests. We would definitely carry out some personal training. And we might look at some skills, techniques and tactics for your basketball and your badminton. On the screen at the moment, I've got some examples of some current Year 11 work for you from the 4 units. So if we look at the top left one, we've got a section of somebody's training program, so with the activities that they did and their justification for it. The middle section on components of fitness is taken from somebody's exam revision, and the top on the right is from our unit on the body in action, so looking at how a certain part of the body has responded to exercise. Bottom right, we have got a student's explanation of a basketball rule, and they've gone through explaining it, the outcome of it, and a situation where it could happen. And as you can see, they've researched themselves a YouTube link that they've put on there. And obviously the photos come from the bit of work above where the student is carrying out their training program. And finally, we just wanted to show you some career pathways and progression pathways from our level 2 offer. So going on from year 11, year 10 and year 11, you could go on to study level 3 BTEC sport. You could look at an A level in physical education. You could look at active IQ as a personal training qualification, BTEC science, biology specifically. And from that, obviously, you could look at specific career pathways. So potentially a personal trainer, PE teacher, gym manager, physiotherapist, army, police, or fire brigade. So there's many different routes out of our subject. And if you have any questions about what you have seen on the screen, then please do come back to us and let us know.